Never date anyone at work unless you know exactly what game you are playing. Because The Office is not a romance movie. It is a battlefield with air conditioning, ID lanyards, fake smiles, and people collecting information like ammunition. One wrong romance, one emotional breakup, one jealous coworker with too much free time, and suddenly your private life becomes public entertainment. And the worst part? You may not lose the relationship. You may lose your peace, your reputation, your promotion, and your ability to walk into work without feeling like you entered a courtroom. Now listen carefully. I'm not saying workplace romance never happens. People spend 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day with co-workers. You see them tired, stressed, laughing, winning, failing, dressed professionally, pretending to have their life together. And somewhere between the coffee machine, the overtime shift, and that one look during a boring meeting, the brain starts whispering stupid things. Well, this is chemistry. Well, she understands me. Well, nobody has to know. Famous last words, brother. Because at work, nobody has to know, until everybody knows. And they always know. A secret between two people in the workplace is not a secret. It is a delayed announcement. Somebody notices the timing. Somebody notices the smiles. Somebody notices who waits for who after shift. Somebody notices who suddenly gets help, attention, flexibility, or favors. And once people start noticing, they start writing their own version of the story. That is where the danger begins. Because dating at work is not just about attraction or love. It is about hierarchy, perception, politics, jealousy, and liability. And those things do not care how smart you think you are. Let's say you date someone above you, a supervisor, a manager, someone close to leadership. At first, it feels exciting. Forbidden fruit with an employee badge. She likes you. She favors you. She cooks for you. But now your success has a stain on it. Every achievement becomes suspicious. You hit your numbers? They'll say it was favoritism. You get promoted? They'll say it was pillow politics. You get protected from pressure? They'll say you had special access. And whether it is true or not, almost doesn't matter. In the workplace, perception can damage you before facts ever get a chance to defend you. Then comes the breakup. And now the person who once smiled at you may control your schedule, your performance review, your opportunities, or your reputation with leadership. Even if she is decent, emotions are not legal documents. What if you both had a fucking fight? Or she gets jealous because you smile to a beautiful trainee who passes by and makes eye contact with you. Feelings get hurt. Pride gets bruised. People remember things differently when their ego is bleeding. So before you chase the thrill, ask yourself one wise question. Is this person worth risking my income? Because that is what you are putting on the table. Now let's talk about dating a co-worker at your level. Same team, same department, same rank. Sounds safer, right? Wrong. Now you have romance mixed with competition. You are both trying to be seen. You are both trying to win. You are both trying to climb. And sooner or later, someone gets praised more. Someone gets promoted first. Someone gets invited into the meeting. Someone becomes the favorite. And if the relationship is not built like steel, resentment walks in wearing work shoes. You may tell yourself, we're professionals. Beautiful sentence. Usually spoken right before two adults start acting like unpaid interns in a soap opera. Because when love and ambition fight inside the same room, one of them starts poisoning the other. If you win, she may feel left behind. If she wins, you may feel replaced. If both of you compete for the same recognition, the romance becomes a scoreboard. And nobody falls in love peacefully while secretly keeping score. Then there is the ugliest version. Dating someone below you. A subordinate. A trainee. Someone you coach, evaluate, approve, schedule, or influence. Because now the issue is not just drama. It is power imbalance. It is HR. It is legal risk. It is your name attached to a story you may never fully control. Maybe she likes you. Maybe she admires you. Maybe she thinks you are confident, experienced, mature, and different from the boys her age. Fine. Still dangerous. Because admiration inside a hierarchy can be confused for attraction. Access can be confused for intimacy. Dependence can be confused for love. And if things go wrong, nobody asks, was he charming? They ask, did he have power over her? That question alone can bury a career. A man with a future does not gamble his reputation for a temporary ego massage. If someone below you starts showing interest, keep it clean. Keep it documented. Keep boundaries clear. And if needed, involve the proper channels before the situation grows teeth. Yes, it may feel awkward. Awkward is cheap. A damaged reputation is expensive. Now, here is the part most people ignore. Workplace romance feels tempting because it is convenient. You are tired. You work all week. You do not want to go out and meet people. You do not want to start from zero. And the person at work already understands your schedule, your stress, your boss, your complaints, your little daily wars. That feels like connection. But sometimes it is just proximity wearing perfume. Just because someone is available does not mean they are good for your life. Just because someone understands your workplace does not mean they belong in your bedroom. Just because the chemistry is easy does not mean the consequences will be. The office has memory. People remember who dated who. People remember who cried in the pantry. People remember who stopped talking after the Christmas party. People remember who suddenly transferred teams. And your co-workers? Most of them are not your friends. They are friendly witnesses. They smile while gathering evidence. They laugh while forwarding screenshots. They say, "I'm happy for you," while sharpening the knife under the table. That is why discipline matters. Not because attraction is evil, not because romance is impossible, but because a serious man knows the difference between desire and decision. Desire says, "This feels good." Decision says, "What will this cost me?" Desire says, "Nobody will know." Decision says, "What happens when they do?" Desire says, "She's different." Decision says, "Every disaster started with that sentence." So what do you do if you are already attracted to someone at work? First, slow down. Do not flirt like a teenager with a horny head. Observe the situation. Check the company policy. Understand the hierarchy. Ask whether either of you has influence over the other's work, schedule, pay, promotion, or evaluation. If the answer is yes, step back. That is not romance. That is a lawsuit wearing condom. Second, separate fantasy from reality. You may be attracted because she is always around. You may be attracted because the workplace creates pressure, and pressure creates false intimacy. You may be attracted because she sees the version of you that performs, leads, solves, and looks useful. But does she know you outside the arena? Does she know your values? Does she know your habits? Does she know your life beyond deadlines, lunch breaks, and complaining about management? Attraction built only on the workplace may collapse the moment real life enters the room. Third, if you still choose to proceed, be brutally smart. No secrecy games. No favoritism. No public drama. No emotional arguments in the office. No using co-workers as messengers. No posting hints online like a sad boy poet with Wi-Fi. And if it ends like in good terms. Quietly. Cleanly. Professionally. Without revenge, gossip, or emotional terrorism. Because the real test of workplace dating is not how it begins. It is how it ends. Anyone can behave when they are desired. Character shows when they are disappointed. And here is the bigger lesson. Your workplace should be a place where your value compounds. Skills compound. Reputation compounds. Relationships compound. Trust compounds. But drama compounds too. One bad romance can turn into gossip. Gossip can turn into conflict. Conflict can turn into HR meetings. HR meetings can turn into lost opportunities. Congratulations, Romeo. You turned a paycheck into a crime scene. That is not the way of a man. That is stupid risk management. A disciplined man protects his money, his name, his peace, and his future. He does not let loneliness choose for him. He does not confuse convenience with destiny. He does not let attraction override strategy. Date outside your workplace if you can. Build a life big enough that your romantic options are not limited to the break room. Have hobbies. Train. Go to events. Build social circles. Improve your body, your money, your confidence, and your communication. The man with options does not need to fish in the company aquarium. And if love truly finds you at work, then treat it like fire. Useful if controlled. Destructive if handled by fools. Be honest. Be careful. Be professional. Be willing to transfer teams, disclose properly, or walk away if the risk is too high. Because not every beautiful thing is worth touching. Not every opportunity is an opportunity. Sometimes the strongest move is restraint. Never date anyone at work unless you know what you are doing. And if you do not know what you are doing, do not learn the hard way. Protect your career. Protect your name. Protect your peace. Because romance should add fire to your life. It should not burn down the building you are trying to climb. And brother, if you genuinely fall in love with a co-worker, do the decent thing. Make it official and clean. If the relationship becomes serious, one of you should consider resigning, transferring teams, or moving to a completely different department to avoid conflict of interest. In decent workplaces, this happens. People meet, fall in love, and handle it like adults instead of turning the office into a gossip casino. But until everything is properly handled, stay discreet. Not secretive like criminals, just wise enough not to invite unnecessary attention from bored people with loud mouths. Till next time, brother.